Give me a second. Wait, okay. Ew. Okay, let me get my... You see it? Okay. See that? It says Intro to Social Science. That's what this video is about. I have a social science class that I take, and this is my exam week social science study guide. I'm gonna be going through all the stuff we've been talking about in class since the beginning of the year that I think is relevant. I'm gonna try and be a little bit summative, but we're gonna be starting off with just like really like basic stuff like id, ego, superego, ego, after like Freud's theory, all that, after just Wilhelm Wundt, quick definition of psychology and personality, really quick. Also, you're probably not going to be able to see a lot of what I write really easily, but I just want to use the chalk wall somehow. Alright. It's going to be a long one, by the way. You can skip ahead whenever you want, etc., etc., because I'm going to be doing a lot of futzing, and I don't really know how to edit videos. Yeah. So cinematic. Okay, psychology. I'm not gonna write it because it's still wet, and I don't know how to spell it anyway. Definition of psychology. We're gonna go through the definitions really fast because I don't care about this part. Okay, psychology is the scientific study of the mind, and how it works together with the body to produce thoughts and actions. It is a behavioral science because it studies the way we act and why we act that way. The founder of psychology is, if you're taking this exam that I'm taking, remember this name, Wilhelm Wundt. German. You don't need to know anything about him. Wilhelm Wundt. Say that 7 times in your head. Yeah. Founder of psychology. Okay. And then, just, Wilhelm Wundt. Psychology is the study of the mind and how it works together with the body and stuff and produces your actions. Okay? Okay. Personality. Personality. Where did I put the definition of personality? Okay. Personality definition. All of the unique mental, physical, and social characteristics that influence a person's behavior across different situations and over time. For example, I have a personality, and I have it because I have lived for several years and experienced an environment. But I also have parts of me that are hereditary that impact my personality. For example, I'm segueing. Heredity and environment. My heredity, what I inherit hereditarily, like genetically from my parents and my ancestors, makes me look the way I do. Check out my side profile. See this? I got that from my mom and my dad, and it affects my personality because I don't know, like your face, people, like your outer, like the way you look impacts the way you're treated, or whatever. So I impacted my personality, and then my environment, things I've done impacted my personality, etc., etc. So heredity, things you inherit, environment, here, I'll find the definition. Environment is like the world around you. I'll get to that later. My notes are later in that. Okay, I'm gonna write this. Okay. Remember Wilhelm Wundt invented psychology. We're moving on from that. Now we have F-R-U-E-D. Freud. You might know him for being the guy who was like, everybody finds their mom attractive. That's a psychology thing. He's the guy who did that. But more importantly, a lot of people don't like him. I don't know, maybe because it's the mom thing. But that doesn't matter. What matters is that he did the id. You might not see this part. Ego. Oops. Wait, there's a G. Pretend it's a G. That's not a 6, that's a G. Ego. Super ego. Super ego. So basically, the id is all the stuff that you just, like, primally want to do. Primally, all you want to do is eat, sleep, have sex, go to the bathroom, get whatever you want. Let's do whatever I want. I'm gonna do whatever I want. I don't know. You're probably gonna die. Babies do whatever they want. They just crap themselves whenever they want. Would you like to do that? No. That's where the superego comes into play. Because the id follows the pleasure principle, which is like whatever feels pleasurable in the moment. If you follow too much of the pleasure principle, you don't end up well. You end up like dead. Because you can't do whatever you want. Like, ooh, I see something across the street, I'm gonna run into traffic, I'm gonna get hit by a car, I'm gonna die. Like, think of a baby. If a baby were an adult human and did whatever a baby wanted to do, it would be dead. It would be dead. You don't want to follow the id all the time. So, the superego is, what is that? Hold on. Gotta find the principles. The superego is the morality principle. It follows whatever it finds to be moral, acceptable by society, etc., etc. So, like, the id is the Joker. The superego is the Batman. All they want to do is do whatever they want, and they want to kill the other one. And they want to kill the other one, they want to make him die. Yeah? Got it. Analogy. Okay? But the ego is something, not a character that very much does not exist in Batman comics. If a character like the ego existed in the Batman comics with the superego Batman and the id Joker, there would be no Batman comics because the plot would not exist, because ego would stop them from fighting and make them both happy, which is the purpose of the ego. Some just fell. Okay, so let's give you an example. The superego is like, I wanna follow my morals, and I wanna do what I think is morally acceptable, even if it like harms my well-being. And then the id is like, it's like, I'm gonna go kill someone and eat them because I'm hungry, because it's crazy. You don't want to do that. You don't want to be the Joker. Okay? But maybe you don't want to be Batman either, because Batman will be like really needing to go pee in the mall, and then Batman will be like, Batman superego, following? Will be like, I don't want to bother anybody, and I don't know where a bathroom is, so I'm just gonna hold it until I have to go home. That's kind of silly. That's kind of dumb. You don't want to do that. Just ask. That's what the ego would say. The ego would say, that's stupid, you're dumb, just ask where the bathroom is. And id, stop trying to pee on the ground. That's not cool. You know what I mean? The ego finds a compromise, a solution. Yeah? Okay. We're done with id, ego, superego now. I hope you understand. you understand that. We're like 10 minutes in. Gosh. Time waster I am. Where's my... Okay. So after this, let's see what we're... Okay. So after this, we move on to heredity and environment. I mentioned this earlier. Heredity and environment. You ever heard of nature versus nurture? I hope so, because I'm going to be assuming that you have. Okay? Okay? Okay. So heredity is what a person receives genetically from their parents, parentheses, biological, close parentheses. You can't get genetics from, like, your adopted parents. And you receive these things at the moment of conception. At the moment of conception, the sperm went in the egg, and that you had all of the traits you would have from hereditarily stuff that you would get from your parents were defined on conception. Okay? These would be like visible or obvious characteristics. Like my big goblin nose, I got that from my heredity. Yeah? My witch nose, I got that hereditarily. And let's see, what else is there about me? Just like find some physical traits that I have. Ooh. Wow, so white. I'm white. I got that from my parents who are both white. I have brown hair naturally. I got that from my parents who, one was blonde, one was black hair. I guess they mixed the colors. They did color theory. Here. Okay. 1 second. I got green eyes. I got that from my parents. You got certain eye colors, you get that from parents, you know? That kind of thing. It can be argued that you also get, like, certain personality traits, or you act a certain way hereditarily, because, like, maybe you weren't raised by one parent, but you still act like that or some crap. I don't care. Just don't think about that. Okay. Oh, okay. Less visible or less obvious characteristics that you can also get from being, like, from your parents or hereditarily would be, like, intelligence. Yeah, your intelligence can be genetic. It can also be, like, if two smart people have a baby, baby's probably gonna be smart. This way you're so smart. Where's the camera? Okay. It can also be, like, diseases. Like, maybe both your parents are more or less likely to have thyroid cancer. You might want to get checked out for thyroid cancer or something like that. What even is a thyroid? Addiction. Say you have a history of alcoholism on both sides of your family. You might want to be careful about that. That kind of thing. Yeah, you can, like, you know. Also your looks. Like, maybe, both my parents are so handsome. Now I'm so handsome. That's how I got to be this fine specimen. Okay. Now, environment. This one I think is a little cooler, a little sicker, a little more fun, a little more... I can't say that. It's a little slay. Okay. Your environment is, definition, listen. The physical, psychological, and social surroundings in which we live. This is very important in shaping our personalities. Example, physical. Our physical surroundings that we experience with our senses. This determines, like, what we eat, like culture, like cultural foods, what we do for fun, like what the people around you do for fun or invite you to, or that kind of thing. What we do in our spare time, which is basically what we do for fun, but maybe you do totally sad, boring things in your spare time. And then your psychological environment, different from your physical environment because it's in your brain, is how do you feel in this environment? Like, right now, I feel very comfortable in this environment because I'm in my house, in my room, talking to myself. That's kind of sad. I also feel very comfortable at, like, my school with my friends and stuff. you know, that kind of thing. But this can be determined on whether or not you're like, is your environment loving? Then you feel loved. Is your environment competitive or cooperative? You either are a competitive person or cooperative person, etc., etc., etc. Now the relationship, listen. The relationship between heredity and environment, they're like this. Okay? Your personality, who you are, is a combination of both. Now, if you feel like doing a little brain thing, just think, okay, like what traits did I get from my parents and what traits were influenced by my environment? How does it affect my... Just do a fun little thing. Like I do a little like character study or whatever. Okay. Just for fun. Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. Alright. I don't know if it's going to be in the test or not, but I'm going to put it up anyway. There's something called reaction range, okay? That I'm going to explain to you, alright? You probably remember this because you might have taken this class with me, but in case it's somebody who's just watching this video, just because they felt like watching some queer talk about social science. Anyway. Okay. It's not really that gone, but like, I'll use a different color. I can't use blue on blue. It's not color theory. Okay. Blue, orange. Okay. Okay, reaction range, I'm gonna write up here. I don't know if you can see this. Reaction range. I also like to call this like a range of potential or a range of probability. I like to call it range of potential because it helps me remember its function, okay? But yeah, the reaction range is, listen, the area of possibilities for the development of one's abilities lying between high and low limits as determined by heredity, okay? So this determines, like, how good or bad you can be at something. I'll give a little example. So this, see these lines? This is one person's reaction range. Oh God, you can't see that. I mean, oh gosh, you can't see that. You do. Get a darker color. Oh God. Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. This. Come on, purple. This right here. Yeah, it's better. Is someone's reaction range. This bottom line is how bad you can be at something. And this top line is how good you can be at something. Say somebody is like, hey, I want to start drawing up. I want to start drawing. I want to be an artist. And right now, they're like practicing, and you know, they're like, hey, let's see if I can be an artist. So at the beginning of their like journey, their like art practice time, they're all the way down here at the bottom, which is like the skills or talent or whatever you want to call it that they're born with. Okay, so maybe they're like really bad. Okay, so they're really bad to start out with. Right down here, they can only like their lines are not confident. They don't know how colors work. They don't know how to start. They don't know like how to draw anything, you know, down here. But say they improve their environment, right? They go somewhere that like is better for art, or they start practicing in an area that's better for art, you know, like they start training there. Say they go to an art school, right? Kind of like the high school I go to, which is very art oriented. So they start practicing every day. They start like taking classics on the fundamentals. They go from like here on the scale. See this little dot at the bottom? That's how bad they were. They move up to like here. It doesn't look like much to you because you're judgmental, but it's an incredibly amazing, like, whoa, oh my gosh, improvement for them because they're seeing all these differences. But imagine if they, like, reach the top of their range of potential, right? They reach a point where they're like, freaking, okay, what's a good art school? That one French one that I keep seeing, like, videos of. There's this one really good, like, fancy one, you know? They go there, and they've been practicing there for, like, 17 years. Let's give them 17 years. And they're, like, at the peak of their artistic potential. Like, they don't think they can get any, well, they think they want to try and get better, but they just can't. They just can't improve anymore. Like, Da Vinci at some point was really bad at art, right? But he practiced and he was in, like, a good environment for art. It was like, oh, it's the Renaissance. He's going to practice a lot. But eventually, Da Vinci hit a point where he reached the top of his reaction range. He reached his magnum opus. He painted the Last Supper with Jesus Christ in it, and he was like, this is the best I can get. And he keeps trying, he just can't get better. That's why in, like, the Olympics, like, when they're swimming, they just, they count, like, half a second as, like, so cool and important. Or, like, you're a runner, and you run cross country, like, you do your, like, you make, like, a slightly better PR, and you're, like, really famous and stuff, and really good at it, and you're like, oh my gosh, I did a little better, because you probably reached the top of your reaction range, and you don't, like, you hit a point where it's really hard for you to improve. Okay, so, this is one person who does art. Here's another person's reaction range. Please see that. See it? Ugh, okay. Another person's reaction range. As you can see, they start off a lot worse than this person. They are so untalented naturally. It's very unfortunate for them. But that doesn't mean they can't be better than this person. What? That's crazy. How is that possible? Well, I'll tell you. Forget all the things I said about this person right here. Let's pretend they're still right down here at the bottom of their reaction range. They're like, oh, I don't know how to, maybe I shouldn't even try. Like, I'm so bad right now. I'm like, blah, 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 blah. And this person was started here, like, 5 years ago. And they've been practicing at, like, a CalArts art school in California. And they're right up here. Their reaction range, their range of potential of how good they can get, is lower than this person. But fundamentally, at this particular skill, they are better because their environment is more suited for the task, okay? If one person's environment is poor for a certain task, but their reaction range is higher, their skill in that task will be worse, okay? If a piano player, there's two people, one of them practices piano a lot, and they're really good at it, so they're better, but their reaction range is lower, right? And the other person has a higher possible genetic reaction range, but they don't practice at all, and they're like those the family in Coco that hated music. So their environment is poor for it. Okay? All right. We're done with reaction range. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Okay. It's time for some fun. It's time for some fun and some joy. Okay. It's time for some fun and some joy. Give me a second. I really hope I learn how to edit this, because if I don't, this is going to be really, really long. It's just going to be so many, like, minutes of me just doing this. Ooh, chalkboard. I don't have an eraser. Stylish. Maybe I can do it with this. Let's do a little test. Oh god, I hate that noise. Trigger warning. It's not even working. Oh god. Okay, class. Let me just dry that off a little bit. can do ASMR. POV. Okay. Defense mechanisms. We all have them. We all use them, even when we don't know it. Actually, especially when we don't know it, because defense mechanisms are what? Unconscious. We do not know we are using a defense mechanism when we are using it. Okay? That's the whole point, because they're supposed to defend you from feeling bad about yourself. Or feeling bad in general. Defense mechanisms. Defense mechanisms protect you from negative emotions like guilt, anxiety, sadness, fear, sometimes anger, maybe. Those kinds of things, you know? Like, here, let's just start. Defense mechanisms are supposed to protect you from negative emotions or experiences. Okay. First defense mechanism. Oh, we're really quick. Okay. Defense mechanisms largely